Welcome to the HAYVN Hubcast, a place to learn what business leaders, owners, and professionals are doing to navigate and grow in today's market. Hear from industry experts on everything from marketing, leadership, financing, and more. Brought to you by HAYVN, a co-working space where you can connect, create, and get stuff done.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the HAYVN Hubcast. I'm your host, Nancy Sheed, and I am very excited to be here today with Julie Mountain and Dana Noorily, the founders of the Granola Bar. Welcome, Julie and Dana.
I'll give us.
Exactly.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Excited to be here for the backstory for people, for listeners who aren't familiar with the Granola Bar. The Granola Bar is a chain. Well, you're actually more than a restaurant. How would you describe the Granola Bar now versus the way some people in Connecticut might know it?
Yeah, that's true. I guess it's like a micro chain.
A restaurant group.
A restaurant group. Yeah, we are a restaurant group of soon to be 10 stores.
Woohoo!
Yeah, it's very exciting, but still the same amazing brand that we had 12 years ago.
Right. Still at the core.
We have a lot to unpack in terms of soon to be 12. And again, we'll put more of this in the story about your backstory, but you actually never intended to be a restaurant chain or a food group. You started out as a product, right? Like
Correct.
You were a product that evolved into what you are now. And I just love that story for people who think they're going in one direction and want to go in a different one. As you've now become a sort of, as you said, restaurant micro chain in the Connecticut area and you're growing, you all have been partners through this from the very, very beginning. You're now in expansion mode. I'm kind of going to leap forward and say, walk us through what growth mode looks like for you all right now. And just again, for listeners who might not know, you've been in Connecticut. You're coming to New York City.
Yeah.
I wish people could see your faces.
We're terrified. We're equal parts terrified and thrilled. I mean, we always do that. That's a founder mentality, right? But go ahead. Sorry, your question.
Well, no, I was going to say, walk us through, like, when did that become a decision? Most people are like, oh, we've been successful in New York, so now we're going to go to the suburbs.
Yeah. And that doesn't always pan out.
Right.
That doesn't always pan out. I will preface by saying when Dana and I decided to open a restaurant in the suburbs in Connecticut in 2013, or we decided in late 2012, people thought we were crazy to do a daytime restaurant in the suburbs. Nobody did that. But as the last 12 years have progressed, things have changed so dynamically that now the cities aren't the cities and the suburbs aren't the suburbs. And we all need new names for everything because the behaviors have kind of mushed together in many ways. But anyway, the city location has been years. It's come up.
I know. So someone recently said, oh, wow, you just decided to open the city. It's like, no, these things are in the works for many years.
Yeah.
I love to hear that, right? Because it feels like it's like, oh, you just started talking about it last year, right? But that's not the case.
Yeah. No, it's a lot like you'll hear about a new band, but the band's been gigging in small clubs for like a decade. And then you hear about them, you're like, wow, overnight success. No, these things take a long time. But I think we started looking at 330 Madison in 2024.
I think it was 2023.
Yeah. Okay. Dana's really good at dates, so I believe you. 2023, we were actually approached by the building owners.
Oh.
They had kind of surveyed their CEOs in the building. And because the building is on the Grand Central lines, obviously our restaurant group runs up and down the 95 corridor. So the CEOs in the building were like, you know what we'd like downstairs? Something like the Granola Bar.
Something approachable.
Great price point, easy to go downstairs and have a meeting. And then they found us, the building owners found us, and we've been very pleasantly working with them, but we've never built a restaurant in a 32-story.
Yeah.
Is it 32 story? It's something like that. It's wild. I mean, there's 3,500 people in the building. It's like a cruise ship on its side. The whole thing is ginormous.
Oh,
The kitchen we're building is larger than any of our single store formats currently, just the kitchen.
Yeah. It's a huge undertaking to support what we feel is Midtown.
yeah.
So yeah, this has been years in the works. It'll probably continue to be another 6 months or so until we open, but don't tell our landlords that.
They're not listening. Do not listen.
Yeah,
Exactly.
But not female. We're safe here.
Exactly.
And that's the last answer of
Exactly.
why we love HAYVN so much. But yeah, no, it's very exciting for us to like take 12 years of learning and put it into something so kind of, it's a flagship for us for sure, but we still consider ourselves a squarely suburban brand. I think as you look to us to talk about expansion, we are most excited about suburbia nationally.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I love that. I love that. I want to stay on New York for just a second. So this will be your first New York, or you're already in New York? Do you have another toehold or foothold in New York?
Sorry, we're in New York on the Upper West Side with a very like suburban-y location there.
Got it.
So that's open just like a Westport's open.
Exactly. We opened that in early 24, January of 24.
Got it. Okay. So you at least know what you're dealing with in terms of just New York City, right?
Yeah.
Like in terms of, we're not in Kansas anymore, but nothing to the degree of what your flagship that you're talking about. Before we get in, sort of with expansion, we can talk about growth in terms of just how many restaurants you have, but that also means expansion in terms of investors. That means expansion in terms of staff. It means, in terms of resources. For those who are thinking about, all right, what their next steps look like, or as you were looking to this, what comes first? Is it the investor? Is it the business plan? Is it the strategic executive staff that comes on to support you? Or is it a matter of they seem to come to you when they need them, or you go on wherever the biggest pain point is?
It's a really complex question. And I'm going to try to unpack it in a way that doesn't bore you to tears or
I'm here for it.
Okay. Or get too deep into our industry specifically. Growth on its own is to be defined here, right? Anyone listening can have a business, and growth doesn't necessarily mean a second location, or it means something different to everyone, right? So for us, we wanted to grow our company in terms of profitability and efficiencies and operational excellence before we expand another store. Does that make sense?
100%. I love that definition.
If we don't do it in that way, we would never be able to sleep at night. Dana can barely sleep at night already. But no, I think for us, we don't seek out locations. That's number one. We tend to wait.
I think it's hard to have. You can put whatever you want on paper, you can strategize, but sometimes things materialize, or there's opportunities that pop up that are too good to pass. Or we kind of set forth the path in terms of expansion that we really only wanted to partner with landlords. So we're actually partners versus just strictly landlords. So that helps drive the strategy a little bit, but it's not always defined beforehand.
Got it.
We never believe in a business plan. I know that is crazy. What we believe in is financial pro forma, with looking at your financial analysis, your budgets, pro forming out what it is you believe your business could do financially. The rest of it, even the DNA of our brand, funny enough, like we've had it in our heads the entire time, but we've never put it on paper before like this week.
Yeah.
Well, seriously? That was going to be one of my questions of like, do you do an annual review of your cultures and your values and your mission statement?
No, because we're grinding through this. We're not lush with people. We don't have extra anything. No, we're just, and things happen to come when I think they're supposed to come, right? So how important is a mission statement to a company that lives and breathes its mission every single day to every customer? Like how important are those words, right? They haven't been until now when we're feeling like, wait, we'll have over 300 team members and we're going to have onboarding, and we need to really define these things so that our GMs are more empowered for hiring, and that Dana and I don't have to say it to everyone, but that it can live and breathe in documents. Whereas I think before, when Dana and I were running the show, we just lived it.
You're right.
Yeah. You were walking the walk and talking the talk for everybody. Well, that again was, I'm going to skip ahead to that question, is you have a loyal community as witnessed by the people in the building who said something like the Granola Bar. Are there steps or things you're worried about in terms of continuing to build the Granola Bar vibe and Granola Bar community at this scale?
No.
Answer? No. Next question, Nancy.
I think we have a really good team, and we have spent a lot of time over the last many months writing down our core values and DNA and sharing those things. But we are fortunate enough to have a lot of team members that have been with us for a really long time. Like we have GMs that have literally been with us since the first store. So those people really embody the values that Julie and I have. And at the core of how they operate their own stores, they really speak for Julie and I. And as long as we continue to have people like that have been with us for the whole time, I think we're in a good position, and they're educating the newer team members.
Right. I was just gonna say that.
And Julie and I are educating the new team members. We have meetings with them and we share, and sometimes things come up from the past that we forgot about, like an item we had or an experience or something that happened. And we said, oh, remember, and Joe did this. And so those are the things, as long as you keep talking about them, people understand and start to really live that way.
Yeah, I think what Dana said is obviously brilliant and dead on accurate because she's been here since day one. But I think I'm not afraid of that. I think that's a myth. I think that's bad operations. I think when you see a store lose their culture, you've actually just broken ops. Your operations are broken. Your hospitality is broken. Like, we'll go into a store of our own and see it broken, right? We know when it's broken because that's when people complain about the taste of something, because you really don't complain about the taste of your latte if you've been loved, if you've been connected with another person. And our ethos is not that complex. If we hire people that are warm and caring and we treat them that way,
right,
then it should really, and I'm not trying to minimize how difficult it is for multi-unit, but at the core of it, you're not selling food, you're selling connection, and you're selling a warm environment. And the food happens to be 10 out of 10 delicious,
right,
and craveable. So yeah, and Dana and I are still here. We still work here every day. So I think, no, that's not a fear.
Well, that's a great, I love it's the connection part, but that's a great segue into also one of the parts of expansion in terms of leadership team, right? Like, so you're still there. You guys are still on the day to day. How have you brought in help at the level you're scaling? And also, how do you do that as a partnership? It's just been the two of you. And if you're bringing other people in kind of at your level, I'm very curious to be like, whoa, who's this person? Or whoa, I don't like. How do you decide how to bring people in at your level?
Have you, first of all, we're going to answer, but have you watched that therapy show, like the couples counseling show, where you're so that woman right now and you're so that couple? We're like, why is she training us?
We just had that talk this morning. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, it went from being like Golden Girls to Three's Company. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have this understanding. We're a marriage in all of its positive, right? Well, except for the physicality.
Right.
But yeah.
You have adoring husbands. More back. I can fill in the backstory. You have adoring husbands. Everything's great.
Not affectionate.
She's not that warm.
Not the type.
She's actually not my type. But anyway, moving on. Yes, we have just hired we're celebrating 1 year with our CEO, who, Rich, who comes from multi-unit. He's opened thousands of restaurants, literally, and comes from like the Chili's Sweet Green background, where multi-unit is very much part of his DNA. The glorious thing about Rich is that there have been incredibly brilliant, wonderful people that want to work where Rich works. So the moment we brought Rich over,
he brought in a team.
He brought in three very integral people into our life. And they are dynamically teaching us about multi-unit operations. And we're teaching them about our founder story and our brand. So we couldn't really do this at this level without Rich and Evan and AP and Ben. Even though we had a crew here, we were all kind of doing it in a very instinctive way. We were running our business through instinct and grit and hard work and emotion. And that's not how they roll.
Right. No. When you have one or two locations and you're like, oh, let's do a special. We're like, okay, great. And now it's a bigger undertaking. We're reprinting menus and we're doing SOPs and we're creating recipe cards, and we have to train 8 chefs instead of 2 or 1. So it becomes a lot more complex, but they bring years of knowledge and they really have been impactful in terms of streamlining our operations. But I will say, I think the team that was in place, that Julie and I did a really good job considering how far we got without having that expertise.
Yeah.
I love that. And it feels like in the day to day, you're bringing the culture, you're bringing the philosophy, the heart, the connection, while they can not take the operations off your plate by any stretch of the imagination, but bring with you their experience in terms of doing that.
Yeah.
And
sorry, but the operations of a restaurant, like they fail miserably, restaurants, because really the ops piece is a science now that I understand it more.
Yeah, it's the critical.
And I watch Evan and Anthony and Ben and Rich work. Like it really is quite scientific and how people move and pivot and where they stand and how many steps it is to the walk-in and things that we were not considering. Because when you multiply these little moments by 100 restaurants, it's very impactful. So it's been very impactful to our bottom line ultimately, and it's keeping us looking forward to the future of our restaurants.
well, I love that you though still are sort of talk about the partnership and the founders, even though you're now in a Three's Company mode. In a Three's Company mode,
We're in trouble. Yeah,
exactly. But again, I think, like as I said earlier, when I first heard you all speak way back in 2019. My biggest aha and takeaway was, wow, launching a company is crazy and overwhelming. At least if you have a partner, you've got somebody at the middle of the night to be like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? So I'm hoping it feels that way for you with your Three's Company person to be like, okay, you got to take this. Like, this is your department. We can't deal with that. I was going to ask you then if you'd had sort of mentors in your expansion or your growth mode. Like, who have you turned to for inspiration? Or I'm going to honor that you just said you've kind of been doing it by instinct and by gut. Have you had people kind of come in and be like, I'm here to help you out, or if you have a question, or if you're moving into New York, or with your round of investors? I love it. I wish you could see these faces. They're shaking. Like, should we say no? No?
In fact, when we've tried to bring people in, I think we did it once or twice, and it's been really a misalignment. I think it would be like trying to explain how you parent your children to another parent and having them be like, oh, I don't do that. I let my kid, I don't have a curfew. Like, no, it's very personal to Dana and I. Not personal, but like how we've built this brand and how we decide to run it. I'll tell you, I thought we'd have more mentorship, but we're really smart. And we don't give ourselves enough credit. And we would like to be mentors to people. And I think we've never been approached, let's just say by a restaurateur, locally or not, to say, would you like some help? We do that.
We've mentored a lot of business owners, female and male. We're very, I think, generous with our time and our insights, and almost to a flaw.
I mean, I'll tell you, a direct competitor called us and asked us a question about catering, and we didn't answer. But the point is more like the answer is no. Like, shockingly, I think there have been some bankers, lawyers, people like that have actually been very supportive in like saying, oh, why don't you meet this person?
Got it.
Meet this person. But no, in our industry, isn't that weird?
Yeah,
it's so weird.
Bizarre.
It's so bizarre.
Well, one, the two of you have had great success with your gut and your instinct and your partnership. So that's not entirely surprising, but I love the honesty or the candidness. And I would also, I'm just sort of curious about, you mentioned, we're going to kind of go back to expansion, but you said particularly suburbia. So what does that look like to you, if you don't mind kind of sharing your plans? And again, I also know you mentioned catering. So those are a couple of things that could look like growth as opposed to one more store. So if you don't mind sort of telling us what's in your crystal ball, it would be exciting to hear what's coming up.
Well, I'm a witch, so that works out. You go ahead.
Well, I'll start with catering, since I'm very involved in that side of the business. We actually just hired a new salesperson to help us expand. And to your point, what you just spoke of in terms of growth doesn't always mean another brick and mortar that you can do. We have a lot of catering capabilities. We do delivery, we do takeout, we do private events. Our restaurants, for the most part, close at 4 p.m. every day. So we have these beautiful spaces, and especially in our newer stores that have liquor licenses. And so we can do a lot of very cool, fun milestone birthdays and engagements and rehearsal dinners and things like that. So, and our food is very approachable. We have a lot of fun with those things. So the runway is endless there. And that's also true when you talk about actual brick and mortar expansion. And I think we've been playing in these like concentric circles. And I think Julie and I are ready to explore opening stores outside of our current market. I believe that there are a ton of zip codes that would welcome our brand. And that is kind of what's on the agenda for us. It's really starting to spend some time looking at real estate and understanding markets and figuring out where our brand would translate the best.
Yeah. To add to what Dana says, because it's perfect, but I'm just going to add, we are opening a very important store in 2 weeks in Massapequa, Long Island. And you'll say, what? And I'm going to say, yeah, Massapequa, Long Island. And we're in Woodbury, which if you look at the demographics, if you study it, if you Excel spreadsheet Woodbury, it has enormous similarities to our current stores. Massapequa is just a little bit different. And what that means is there are hundreds of markets around the country that are more Massapequa than they are maybe a Woodbury or a Westport. When you look at Westport, my gosh, like we will wake up in the morning, like first you can't drive around town period. But then once you drive around, and then this includes Darien as well, and everyone's here. Le Pan Quotidien is opening in Westport. Laman is opening in Westport. Tate is opening in Darien. Everyone is coming here. And that's flattering. Like, honestly, that's flattering. There's something to that where we have substantiated and others have substantiated, like, this is a wonderful place to have a business. To that end, there are so many towns that are underserved. They're just underserved.
And I was going to say, so you knew this area, right? I mean, you live here. How does one go and sort of get local knowledge in communities? Again, you don't live here. Are they major markets? Are they identified? Do you hire experts? Do you set a
experts? Honestly, you could look at our email solicitation from brokers saying, or even customers saying,
I think our customers know where we should open. That's
love that.
We've gotten most of our ideas from our customers. Number two, I happened to grow up in Massapequa, so I understood.
There you go.
But for me, it was, I think when we first met, I said, we'll never open a store.
You did say that.
Okay. We'll never open a store in Massapequa. So these things evolve. As you become more confident, we become more confident in what we're serving. The world opens up where the risk becomes, it's not so vital that the town be perfect because there are so many good towns.
It's food.
And it's food.
Everybody eats.
Everybody's eating. And so when we stopped looking at it we used to say, oh my gosh, well, avocado toast, you'd have to have a sophisticated palate. This is 12 years ago. We used to say those words.
Before Dunkin' Donuts put it on.
Right. Everyone and their mother has an avocado toast. You don't need to have it. That's kind of deli now. That's right now. So as things have evolved, I think the landscape has opened up for us because we really are just serving delicious, approachable food. So tell me a town where, as long as the real estate is right, the landlord is a wonderful person, and we can negotiate something with minimal risk, then it's a green check.
I feel like you guys are you're the zeitgeist and catching not to say you're not amazing. You're amazing at what you do, but I also love how the world is catching up, or you're able to ride some of the waves. We've totally skipped over a pandemic, but while that was debilitating, I think there were also bonuses in that for you all as well. So I love that you're able to ride some of these waves. I could talk to you all forever. But I don't want to end without chatting about the connection that brought us here, which is HAYVN. And as I mentioned earlier, I just remember just falling in love with the two of you and your story way back in 2019 in the partnership story, which was actually at HAYVN. You came and spoke at the Her Story event. Was it earlier this year? Right? Yeah. Earlier this year. I was like, what year is it?
It was 2025.
What? Speak a little bit about your connection to HAYVN and or you alluded to earlier, Dana, like just communities and organizations of women business owners, like how has that been a part of your growth or your business or for you all personally?
I mean, it's something that we gravitate towards, just being strong female founders. And we have daughters. In fact, I will let you know that the Her Story event at HAYVN that we just did if it was last spring, I don't even know what day of the week it is, was the first time we actually invited our sons and daughters and spouses to come listen. And it was the first time that they had all been in a room together to hear our story. So that was a big milestone for us, actually, because
it was probably the best thing we've ever done.
It was so.
I have goosebumps. And I mean, I was at that event and you all would say things and then I would turn and look at them and kind of watch their faces as they were watching you. And it was really powerful. And I'm not kidding you. I have goosebumps right now.
No, for us too, it really was. And I think, sorry, you were going to go on. But
no, I was, we're men, women, business, everybody has a role, right? But I think that such a big part of our story is the fact that Julie and I have not only built this incredible business, but we did it while still raising families. And so that is something that I think cannot be minimized because it's such a part of who we are.
No, it makes me cry every time.
Yeah.
Like every time it makes me cry thinking the proudest moment I have is our kids.
Yeah.
It's our children that they didn't know. My girls came home from Her Story at HAYVN and were like, we didn't know you were going through all that. We were 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You didn't bring it home, Mom. How did you do that? How did you not bring it home?
Wow.
And I don't know that I've ever felt more proud because I was able to be present as their mom. And I got pushback going to work from a lot of people. You know, it wasn't just culturally like, what am I doing? Blah, blah. But like, I really do feel like when we're together with our girls and your sons and my stepsons, it's the best. And people say to us like, oh, your company's like your baby. We're like, no, our babies are our babies. And our company is something that's come out of our friendship and our relationship. But at the core of it, I can't echo it enough. Like that moment, seeing my children and your children in the audience, it was like, for me, everything. And it happened at a really important time because now they're off to college and like, who knows when we're going to the seasons are changing. But I think HAYVN, just to add on to what Dana's saying again, I feel very free in a room of women to talk about our experience in a way that feels very authentic. And I'm not worried about hurting somebody's feelings.
Or having to not say a few things because you're in a room that you're not comfortable speaking freely.
It is so uniquely female. And it's a hard thing, right? We've spoken at universities where young women don't want to talk about like that it's different to run a business as a woman. It's more like, you know, you don't want to say boss babe anymore. You just want to say power CEO. You know, and I'm like, no, I'm kind of babe. Like, I think it's a very big issue, but HAYVN is such a cocoon, I guess, for us. We'll always be in support of it. I think there should be a million HAYVNs, but I really do feel strongly it gave us a place to speak, I think, just very freely. And I think empowering other women is like very important, very, very important. And there are women at all stages at HAYVN too, which I loved. Like it was like, and I found my kid's college tutor there. So that was that.
And
there's a plug right there.
Yeah. We just partnered with your new Greenwich location and we're sponsoring all of the events there. And it's been amazing. They've been so great. So great. And they're posting all this great social media content. And it's a great opportunity for us to showcase our catering and really how special it is and how unique it can be and all the different offerings we have. So we're very appreciative of that partnership.
Thank you for mentioning that. I was like, if they bring it up anyway. So, exactly. Well, I'll see you soon in the Greenwich location. Again, I feel like there's so many things we didn't get to cover. And for those of you who are just learning about Granola Bar and Julie and Dana, check out their backstory. I mean, in terms of where they started with the Granola Bar, you know, and the granola back in the day. Thank you for your time. Thank you for, again, being authentic and sharing your experience with the HAYVN community and beyond. if people want to learn more or reach out or tell you to come to their community, what's the best way to reach you all?
Oh gosh, I'll give you my cell. No, I'm kidding. At this point, you might as well. Everyone else calls me, changing my number. Oh gosh, they can go on our website. They can email us. You can find us. We're easy to find. We're also on social media. Dana and I have our own little behind the scenes ridiculousness called Granola Girls with a Y, Granola Girls.
Okay.
So you can always direct message us there too. We'll read that. If you need any help or support, we're here.
We'll put that in the notes. Thank you again, Julie and Dane, for your time today. Good luck with expansion. Good luck with kids going off to college, whatever age and stage that is. We will be following and watching from afar. Thanks again for your time and for being here.
Thank you. Thanks.
And that's another episode of the HAYVN Hubcast. Thanks for listening. If you'd like what you hear, please share it with a friend, give a review, a thumbs up, and make sure you're a subscriber.
Thanks for listening to the HAYVN Hubcast, a place to learn what business leaders and owners are doing to navigate and grow in today's market. Please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. HAYVN is a co-working space and virtual community located in the heart of Fairfield County, Connecticut. HAYVN is a hub for business owners and professionals to connect, create, and get stuff done. Find out more about the HAYVN community online at hayvn.com. That's HAYVN.com. HAYVN Hubcast is produced by Sound Advice Strategies.